Hey everybody, it's Dana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be working with some more of the Distress Oxide inks. You guys know I have fallen in love with these inks, but we're going to be using it today on some craft paper, and we're going to be doing a little bit of stenciling. This is one of the new stencils that were released recently from Ranger. I'll go ahead and make sure I link all of the supplies in the description box below, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to tape down my craft paper onto my mat so it doesn't slip and slide, and I'm going to lay down my stencil directly into the middle because I'm going to be cutting this out anyway, but I just want it to be lined up in the middle. I'm going to grab some painter's tape, and that's just going to hold my stencil in place. Now this is a very delicate stencil, so I want to make sure that I can get it to lay down. All right, so I'm going to be using some of the blending tools with this, just the circle ones, and I'm going to start off with the not cracked pistachio, and I'm going to start off in the upper right hand corner and start bringing that color down. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap in the middle, and that's where I'm going to put in that beautiful worn lipstick. As I said before, and you guys might have seen this in some other videos, um, this is a hybrid ink, so it's a pigment ink mixed in with a dye ink, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It goes on like butter on your cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of that worn lipstick directly in the middle, and it's just going to give me a really beautiful blend. Those two colors together are going to give me a really pretty light lavender color. So the oxide inks blend very well together, and they're just so vibrant and so pretty. So I'm just going to blend those two edges together and make sure the transformation of color is just really even throughout. All right, so I'm just going to lift that up, give you a nice little peek. Whoops. Give you a nice little peek, and you can see how the colors mix together. Very, very pretty. So I'm going to pop that down, and I'm going to activate this a little bit. So I'm just going to get me a spray bottle, and I just want to mist it a little bit with water. So this is nothing but water in this spray bottle, and I'm just going to mist it, and that's going to activate the colors just a tad bit. It kind of, when you spray it, it activates it, and it gets the color to oxidize. So I'm going to lift this up very gently, and you're going to see that the color's a little bit brighter, but once I bring the paper up closer to you, you're going to see how the color kind of changed. Let me go ahead and dry it back just a tad bit with my heat gun, and you're really going to start seeing the change in the ink. Usually when you use the regular distress ink, it will remove the color. This kind of gives you white little speckles in the ink instead of just removing the ink. So there you can see it a lot better. Can you see the oxidation in that? Isn't it gorgeous? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that one more time. I'm going to lay down my stencil. Now I made sure to wipe off my stencil because I'm going to go in the opposite order. So this time I'm going to start with the worn lipstick, and I'm going to do it in the top right hand corner. Instead of having it in the middle, I'm going to just have the opposite. So I'm going to have that worn lipstick in the top right hand corner going across the top, and then I'm going to have it across the bottom, and we're going to put the cracked pistachio across the middle. So you're seeing, even though that this is taped down, I'm actually really holding my hand over it as well, because it's such an intricate stencil rather, that I want to make sure that I don't get too much of the ink in places that I don't want it. So if you do buy this stencil, just make sure that you hold it down with your hand as well. It's just such a beautiful stencil. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. I think this one is called Splash, if I remember correctly. But like I said, I'll make sure I have everything linked in the description box below. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I blend those colors together evenly. And like I said, these two colors together look fabulous. All right. So now since I have all of the colors blended nicely together, I'm going to go ahead and spritz this with some shimmer spray instead of water. So I'm going to move everything out of the way, and I'm just going to give this a couple of spritz. Now, when I spritz it with the shimmer spray, I don't get as much activation as I do with just water. And you'll really be able to see that when I lift this up. I just don't get the same intensity in the color as I did with the water. So I'm going to pull that back, but you will see that it brightened up a lot more than it did with just the water. You can totally see the difference already. So I'm going to dry that back with my heat gun. You really get some beautiful effects with this ink. So can you see how more intense it looks? So can you see that? So I really get a nice shine, but it really intensified the color more than the water did. So I'm going to bring both of them together so you can kind of see the difference. That one's really, really bright compared to that one. So I got a lot more oxide look out of the one that was on the left compared to the one that was on the right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start putting the card together. And this is some Nina Solar White 110-pound cardstock. And I went ahead and trimmed down my panels because I just want them to be really nice white edges. And I just want to have that pretty card panel directly down the middle. So I have my ATG gun, and we're just going to go ahead and put these panels down. Now I'm just going to make this a really simple card. I'm not going to add too much to this, and I'm going to actually enter my card into one of the challenges over at Simon Says Stamp. So I'm going to keep this really nice and simple and send this to a couple of my beautiful girlfriends. I think they'll like to have this little beauty in the mail. What do you guys think? So I'm going to lay that down. And like I said, using the craft cardstock and those pretty spring-like colors, it's really going to be a nice card. I'm loving these inks, you guys. Loving them. All right, so for my die cuts, I'm using a beautiful die cut as well as a Hello die cut. Both of these are from Simon Says Stamp. I went ahead and cut these out of some Nina 80-pound cardstock. And even though the sentiment is longer than the card panel itself, I'm okay with that because we're going to be trimming them down. Now, in order to get them onto my card panel, I'm using some multi-matte medium and a very fine tip adapter that's on the top of the bottle in order to get behind all of those letters. Now what I could have did was run this through my Xyron sticker maker, but I'm just moving down to my new room, so my stuff is kind of packed up and all over the place. So I'm just going to grab my tweezers and flip this over. Now the beautiful is just big enough to go right across that card panel. So I'm going to go ahead and press that down. Now I could have left the rest of the overhang of the beautiful sentiment and just cut it off on the ends of the white. But what I'm going to do is just go ahead and grab a pair of scissors, and I'm going to actually cut off those tail ends so it ends exactly at the end of the craft cardstock. So I'm just going to go in with my scissors and just very gently cut off just the end parts of that beautiful sentiment. I should have actually did this before I put down the card panel, and that was my idea when I thought about it, but it was too late. I had already put down the card panel before I realized, like, hello Dana, you forgot you were supposed to put on the beautiful before you put it on a card panel. But that's okay. We can always go back and make it work, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the hello. I'm just going to add a little bit of that multi-matte medium to the back, and then we can go ahead and put that onto the front of the card. So you can see how pretty you can make these backgrounds using these distress inks. They are probably one of the prettiest things I've added to my stamp collection in a long time. And I can't say enough about a mind-blowing ink that is out on the market right now. Like, a lot of people who have brought them into the stamp room have said the same thing I'm saying. It's just something that's new that we've just never seen before, and Tim has really blown our mind with these. I cannot wait to see some of the other colors that he comes out with. I think if I remember correctly, he's going to bring them out in all of the colors that he has in the distress inks, and I cannot wait. Absolutely cannot wait. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop down my next beautiful down onto this next card panel. And I'm going to go ahead and gently tap that into place. All right, now all I have to do again is go ahead and trim off the excess. So I just need to slip a finger, or actually a nail, right under the edge, and I can just quickly trim off just that little bit of pieces that I have left over. I really like this beautiful die too. I think it's just stunning, and I love that it automatically has like the little border at the bottom, and it's connected directly onto that line. I think it's just so pretty, and this is probably one of my favorite hello sentiments as well. I like to mix my fonts, and I think this looks very pretty together. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish up putting a few extra dots on the back of this hello, and we will have some two beautiful cards that I can send out to some beautiful ladies in my life. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck the little hello right behind that sentiment. I'm going to very gently press down. And there we have it. Isn't that pretty, you guys? And look how beautiful those backgrounds are. So this one here was done with just the water, and then this one here was done with the shimmer. So you can really see a little bit of that sparkle going on there. Now at this point I thought it was just going to be done with the cards. I wasn't going to add anything else. But you know me, I just had to add a little bit of sparkle. So I went back and I added just a few sequins. Because, I just had to add a little bit of bling to the cards, but not too much. I didn't overdo it. All right, everybody, that is it. That is a wrap on the cards. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.